Hi everyone, I want to talk to you today about vitamin D, and especially with all this coronavirus thing and people quarantined, it's really important that I talk to you about vitamin D today. And there are numerous studies, research, you can go find all this information yourself about how protective having adequate vitamin D levels are to preventing any kind of cold or flu. And so everyone that I've tested in my clinic, and I'm going to talk to you about these test kits, has been deficient. And when I say deficient, I'm talking really deficient. So we like to see numbers at least at a minimum 60 and above. I like to see 70 and above. Mine is usually in the 80s. But a lot of people are getting, the check mark on their lab work when they're at 30. And that is just not protective enough. So one thing that I'd like to have every American do, everyone in the world, is get their vitamin D tested. And listen, it is the simplest thing to fix because we have vitamin D3 in a supplement form. Our Max Living brand has 5,000 IUs per capsule, which would be the minimum to maintain wherever your vitamin D levels are. You may need to take more if your vitamin D levels are really low, but it's inexpensive and you can get your vitamin D levels up quick, and we know how protective it is against any kind of pathogen. Listen, when your body comes in contact with invaders, it activates your T cells, right? The very first thing your T cells do, which are trying to fight off any kind of infection, is to activate vitamin D receptors. If there's not enough vitamin D there, they cannot activate appropriately. So one of the best things you can do is get your vitamin D tested and supplement where necessary. Now, my other concern is people are, quarantined, and it is the colder months still. People are inside, they're not getting sunlight, which is a great source of vitamin D when it hits your skin. The cholesterol in your skin activates the sunlight to turn into vitamin D in your body. So people are going to be inside more, they're not getting sunlight, they're quarantining themselves. It's going to be even more important to make sure your vitamin D levels are up. It is so protective against something like the flu. So we have these test kits. I'm taking mine home today. It's a good idea to test your vitamin D levels frequently, at least once a year. So I'm taking my kits home today. I have a bunch more of these kits on the way here. It's really easy, you guys. You take it home, you open it up. It has a little lancet here. You prick your finger, right? A little prick with a little needle, and you fill up this card it's called a blood spot test, right? Send this in, it gets tested. We get the results in about 10 to 12 days. There may be a little backup because I think a lot of people are doing this now. But listen, if you've never had your vitamin D tested, you absolutely must do it. If it's been a while, you're gonna do it too. I'm taking mine home today to retest. And again, this is something so simple, and people just don't realize how protective it is and how deficient they actually are in vitamin D. It is a huge problem, and so to be proactive rather than just quarantining yourself, make sure your body is able to fight off these things naturally, and this is a really easy way to do it. So if you have questions, make sure you come get your kits. I'll post on Facebook when we get all the kits in, and they're inexpensive. 80 bucks is all it costs. You take it home, turn it in. So if you have questions, make sure you call us or talk to us when you're in the office, but get your vitamin D levels checked. Hey, and also, even if you haven't had it checked, take that bare minimum of 5,000 IUs a day. You must do that to maintain wherever it is right now. We can work on getting it up. But I have 50 or so bottles of vitamin D ready to show up in the office today, so make sure you get it. You can also go online and order them. So vitamin D is what you need to know today.